to 1160hope.com.
Welcome to the Transforming Your City radio program with popular leadership expert, author, speaker, mentor, minister, coach Dr. Dave Robinson. Since 1966, Dr. Dave Robinson has been developing leadership and management skills both in the church world and in the marketplace. He and his wife, Marie, have been married since 1968. They have 3 children, 8 grandchildren, and 3 great-grandchildren. They've called Chicago home since 1979. Since 2005, Dave has served as a full-time executive leadership coach for leaders in the church, business, government, and education. He travels in the USA and oversees more than 250 days each year, helping leaders improve their skills and seeing their vision become a reality. He's authored 4 books on leadership and publishes a monthly e-news article read by more than 40,000 people in over 30 nations. In today's Transforming Your City radio program, leadership coach Dr. Dave Robinson tackles the 3 key leadership questions necessary to affect change in your life and in your city. What do you want? What do you have? And what is your plan to close the gap from what you have to what you want? This is where coaching begins, transforming your city. Now, here's Coach Dave Robinson, Ph.D.
Hello, I'm Dave Robinson. Welcome to Transforming Your City through Marketplace Leaders right here on AM 1160, Hope for Your Life. This is a show that helps you understand how marketplace ministers use their Ephesians 4:1 calling to extend God's kingdom by bringing transformation to their city. Our team is committed to helping you develop your leadership skills and provide greater value to your marketplace ministry. Stay tuned. We have a great show for you today.
And now let's check the coach's clipboard. Leadership coach Dr. Dave Robinson shares what's on his heart, giving you a fresh insight and revelation into transforming your city.
On the coach's clipboard, I share my passion for the need to transform cities. Your city and every city is influenced by 3 entities that make up the marketplace. The business community, they pay for everything by the wealth they create. The governments, they control everything by the laws and regulations they legislate. The educational institutions, starting at the university level, determine the values and philosophies that business and government leaders use every day. For any city to be transformed, the church in that city must unify and infiltrate those 3 entities, bring real value, and then allow God's favor to elevate them to positions of influence. My tip for today is the role of a marketplace ambassador. The biblical role of all marketplace ambassadors is found in 2 Corinthians 5:20 through chapter 6, verse 2. We are Christ's ambassadors, and God is using us to speak to you. We urge you, unbelieving marketplace contacts, as though Christ himself were here pleading with you. Be reconciled to God. For God made Christ, who never sinned, to be an offering for our sins, so that we could be made right with God through Christ. As God's partners, we beg you not to reject this marvelous message of God's kindness. For God says, at the right time I heard you. On the day of salvation I helped you. Indeed, God is ready to help you today. Now, today is the day of salvation. That comes out of the New Living Translation. The U.S. Department Guidelines defines an ambassador as the following: a government representative called, commissioned, and sent to serve in a foreign country for the purpose of accurately communicating the position and policies of the United States of America, so that the people to whom they are sent will be brought into and kept in good relationship with the United States of America. As an ambassador for the King of all kings, we must do no less. We are representing him and his kingdom in the marketplaces of America and around this world, wherever he sends us. We are sent to represent the interests of the King and his kingdom, not our own. This ability to represent the interests of Christ is a challenge to come by, as the Apostle Paul stated when writing about Timothy to the Philippians. I have no one else like him who takes a genuine interest in your welfare, for everyone looks out for his own interests, not those of Christ. Paul knew a lot of people, but he only knew one who had his priorities right. When God asks us about our worldviews, I suggest that we answer this way: my personal views are not important, only those of the kingdom that I represent. Often the battle of personal opinions pulls us when we should be expressing ourselves as Christ's ambassadors. Jesus, the Apostle Paul, and other first-century Christians were masters at diverting attention from their personal views to the views of the kingdom. There are 4 elements of being a marketplace ambassador. Let me give them quickly to you today. First of all, we are God's model ambassador as Jesus Christ modeled this. Jesus modeled and mastered 3 things that set the bar for all of us. First of all, he mastered himself by mastering his tongue, James 3. He mastered his relationships in Mark 10:45. He gave them a vision. He empowered them for greatness. He mastered his actions in John 21. Every ambassador has a profile. First is loyalty. We're sent here to please Christ. There's diplomatic pressure and cultural pressure, but you are there as a different voice. Then we have integrity. Articulation and our actions must match. We build trust through communication and lifestyle. Humility, spiritual maturity, passionate love. Ambassadors' responsibilities. We must listen as one under authority. We must speak as one given authority. We're not there to do our own bidding. We're there to do His. Our job as ambassadors must go beyond believing God for converts. It must include making disciples and reproducing giant killers. King Saul was not a giant killer, so he cannot produce giant killers. We cannot demonstrate and teach what we have not learned and experienced ourselves. We arrive at our assignment as ambassadors. May God help us to represent His kingdom and not the interests of ourselves.
It's the Coach's Playbook. Dave Robinson travels more than 250 days each year coaching globally to help transform cities and nations. With his effective teaching style, Dave presents today's leadership moment highly relevant for you and your city.
Hi, I'm Coach Dave Robinson, and in the Coach's Playbook this week is an excerpt from the first of a couple of sessions that I presented in Reston, Virginia to nearly 300 marketplace leaders gathered at the Fellowship's 2016 Advance Conference. Our world needs a complete priesthood. The challenges that it creates theologically for those who are still stuck in Constantine's ecclesiastical order that he started around 325, 340 AD. I understand that's where we are, and part of what is my heart and my passion and the team that God has gifted me with is that we have to be gentle in attacking someone's theological position, but we can no longer afford to wait. We lost Europe. Europe is now a darker continent than even Africa. And we can no longer afford, because America is usually just about 10 years behind Europe. Our country's in the mess that it's in because the people of God are in the marketplace, but they don't really understand why they're there. They are not there as laymen. They're not there to take a job. They are royal priests that have been called by God to serve out their priesthood in the marketplace every day. And those of us that have been called to the ministry in Ephesians 4:11-16, He gave the call to everyone in verse 1. Paul, as he does in all of his books, makes a shift somewhere in the middle of that book from the theological and doctrinal position to the practical living out of what he just taught. And he made that shift in Ephesians 4, verse 1. Walk worthy in the vocation wherein you are called. The word vocation in the King James is better translated calling. So all of us have a calling. I'll go into a church. I always ask the pastor for permission to do this because I don't want to throw it on him as a surprise. But I'll ask all the full-time ministers to please stand. I know who's going to stand. All of those who have been recognized, ordained, whatever ecclesiastical structure that they have will stand. Maybe a traveling missionary or guest or whatever. And I'll give them all the attaboys I can and thank them for being there. And then I'll say to the rest of them, what, you're not in this full time? Are you bivocational? I just detest that word. Bivocational. It's kind of like you're divided. I don't think God ever wants us to be divided. I understand the term. You may have a church and you may have a calling in the marketplace. But we've got to adjust some of that if we're going to disciple nations. The Lord said to me that morning, there are 3 entities that control every city, every nation. And they are the business community. They pay for everything. The government, they control everything. And then you have the educational institutions, especially at the university level, that determine the values and philosophies of both the business people and the government people. What's wrong in our nation? We walked away from those. We said, we'll start our own. And we did, and now they're coming again. I sat with the president of a denominational university 2 years ago, and she had got a hold of my book, read it, and wanted to meet. She was just coming into that presidency. And I said, if 10,000 of you call them lay people, showed up at your next general meeting and asked to be seated as full-time marketplace ministers, would they be seated as such? She smiled. She says, you know they would. I said, if we don't change that, we're going to continue to lose. I hope you enjoyed the Coach's Playbook. We'll be right back with our Ask the Marketplace leaders, and we'll talk some more with Dennis and Sandy Nissley of Christ in Action, who I recently had the chance to visit with. Right then, his organization was in the midst of providing relief to families in West Virginia following the floods in 2016.
You're listening to Dave Robinson's Transforming Your City radio program. We appreciate your being part of the Transforming Your City movement. Leadership coach Dave Robinson's fervent hope is to help you as you reach your own full potential as a marketing leader who's fully involved in transforming your city. That's why connecting with Coach Dave is such an important step. Visit transformingyourcity.com. That's transformingyourcity.com. While there, make sure to sign up on the homepage for your free email subscription to Coach Dave's monthly Transforming Your City e-magazine. Sign up soon because Coach Dave is launching a series of Transforming Your City equipping events. We'd love to see you at one of our upcoming events. Want to learn more about the Transforming Your City one-day equipping events? Give our Transforming Your City's offices a call toll-free at 844-706-1444. That's 844-706-1444. Or email us at dave@transformingyourcity.com. That's transformingyourcity.com.
It's time to get to work transforming your city. Idle in the Marketplace at the 11th hour is the popular must-read from Dr. Dave Robinson concerning the church's most important mandate. Connect with Coach Dave. Become a member of the team at transformingyourcity.com. With your donation of any amount, you'll have online access to the Idle in the Marketplace audiobook. For your contribution of $35 or more, we'll include a print version as well. Perfect for highlighting and taking notes, plus a print copy of Dave's popular 100 Leadership Nuggets, the perfect guide for those who want to lead well. Your gift will help Transforming Your City impact lives globally for the kingdom. And Transforming Your City is part of E41 Marketplace Ministries. Visit transformingyourcity.com today and look for Idle in the Marketplace offer. That's transformingyourcity.com. Here's our toll-free number, 844-706-1444. That's 844-706-1444. Toll-free 844-706-1444. Transformingyourcity.com. Transforming Your City with Dr. Dave Robinson. What do you want? What do you have? And what is your plan to close the gap from what you have to what you want? This is where coaching begins, transforming your city. Now, here's Coach Dave Robinson. Ask the Marketplace leaders. In the course of his travels, Dr. Dave Robinson connects with leaders in all areas of influence, business, government, and church, and invites experts to join him in this segment. Let's learn from leadership that will help you transform your city.
I'm Coach Dave Robinson, and in the Ask Marketplace Leader segment today, let's continue the interview that I did with Dennis and Sandy Nissley in Reston, Virginia at this year's Advanced Conference of the Fellowship. On the program with me today is Denny and Sandy Nissley, longtime friends, and welcome. Glad you're with us today. I know I believe it was down in Texas that there was a couple living together and but weren't married. Tell us a little bit what happened, how you ended up completing that union.
Well, this is really neat. It was in Wimberley, Texas last year. They had the Memorial floods, and we were helping this couple. They were both in their late 50s, and they had a big flood in their house, and we were all, it was like almost 100 degrees. We were sweaty, we were muddy, we were dirty, had sawdust all over us. We were cutting up trees, taking their house apart, and they were helping us. And we always serve lunch on scene. We cater the lunch to the place we're working. We take enough to feed the neighbors and the homeowners and stuff. And we're all sitting around eating lunch, and they were saying things like, praise the Lord, and we thank God for you. And I said, so you're Christians? They said, yeah. And they had told me that they weren't married. And I said, so you're Christians, you're living together in adultery. And they looked at me and they said, yeah, I guess you're right. I said, well, the good news is I'm an ordained minister. I said, and we can remedy that right here. The man was an attorney. I said, I can remedy the spiritual part with God. You can get right with God, and then you could take and get the paperwork caught up later. And they looked at each other and they said, let's do this. And so we went right down by the Blanco River that flooded their house, and we stood there all muddy and dirty. One of my volunteers, he was the best man and a witness, and another one videoed it on my iPhone, and we had a wedding ceremony. And he got to kiss the bride. And about an hour later, FEMA was there, and they were working through how they can help these people. And they said, so what's your relationship? They said, we're married. And then he got the paperwork, and they're still our friends today. They'll probably see this broadcast or hear the podcast. They're good friends of ours, and they have a good marriage, and they're doing wonderful.
Super. Sandy, were you on that trip?
I was there for part of it. We were invited to be in the 4th of July parade, which is a big, big deal in Wimberley. And we dressed up some of our equipment and put it on trailers and went through the parade just like anybody else. But in front of us were some Corvettes, which were really cool. But the crowd didn't really care. But when we came, they were like hooping and hollering and saying thank you. It was just really a very exciting experience. It was very emotional because normally when we help people, they say thank you. But this was like hundreds and droves over and over and over, just standing to their feet and clapping and cheering and expressing that gratitude. And it was overwhelming.
We all wear red T-shirts when we work. It has the logo of our ministry on it, and on the back it says bringing hope to America's families. And we put that on all of our volunteers. It's kind of for safety when you're working around machinery. You see the red shirts, and it's for recognition. And everybody that was in the parade with us, we had excavators with American flags on it and stuff. But the whole community was just, they would stand up and cheer when we came through. And that was all because I think I was the only ordained minister that was there. All the rest were marketplace people, and they impacted a whole county for Jesus.
Take about a minute and tell us, I know when the plane hit the Pentagon on 9/11 that your ministry had a major part. Take a minute and share with them.
Yeah, when the 9/11 terrorist attacks hit, we made about 200 and some phone calls, and we were finally invited to set up on the south parking lot of the Pentagon, and we cooked and served over 55,000 meals to the recovery workers there. And we had people from churches all across the country that came in, and we would house them outside of the D.C. area, and we cooked and served. And I became the main counselor for the people that were pulling the bodies and stuff out of the rubble. And then we were able to go, when we were finished at the Pentagon, when they finished the recovery and they started doing construction, we then went up to Ground Zero in New York City, and we were up there almost till Christmas time, and we cooked another 50-some thousand meals for the recovery workers down in the hole. And then that opened the door for us to share Christ with so many people. And we had, again, people from all across the country would sign up on our website, which is, I'm going to throw it in here, it's ChristInAction.com. And they signed up as volunteers, and then they would come and they would help us, and then we would share with the people that are in the community.
I trust you enjoyed our time with Dennis and Sandy Nissley today, Christ in Action Ministries. They have a great ministry there in Manassas, Virginia. They do relief work all over this country. They have over $2 million worth of equipment that they take in, and they minister to people long after the government agencies are gone. Dennis and Sandy Nissley and their teams are there to help people. If you want to get in touch with them, go to our website. We'll tell you how you can connect with Dennis and Sandy Nissley.
It's time to ask the coach. In this segment, Dr. Dave Robinson goes to the phone, social media, and emails to answer questions directly coming in from thousands of weekly listeners to Transforming Your City.
I'm Coach Dave Robinson, and you can ask your question on Ask the Coach. Call us toll-free at 844-706-1444. That's 844-706-1444. You can also ask your question by email at info@transformingyourcity.com or use the contact form on our transformingyourcity.com website, or send us a message on our Transforming Your City Facebook page. In today's Ask the Coach Corner, I want to respond to a question that came in from the contact form at transformingyourcity.com. Let me read it to you. You talk about transforming your city. How can I make a difference in all these questions that are coming up? It seems in the government section especially, where school boards are telling students about which bathroom to use and etc. I seem like I'm a stick in the mud for holding traditional values. How can you help me? One of my favorite mantras is, great leaders ask questions, good leaders respond to questions, and poor leaders have all the answers. If you want to control a conversation, you do it by asking questions, not by making statements. Over the past 75 to 100 years, secular humanism has taken over the rhetoric and dialogue in America, especially in our government at all levels, federal, state, and even local levels. The two most influential positions in any local government is first a seat on the city council and second a seat on the school board. The church in every city, town, and community must have a strategy to regain these two places of influence, or she will continue to lose ground and eventually find herself totally irrelevant outside the walls of her facilities. The church must stop waving her Bible and making statements of judgment and condemnation. Even Jesus said in John chapter 12, verse 47, I've not come to judge the world, but to save it. Jesus also said that the collective church in the marketplace is to be salt and light. These are not tools of destruction, but instruments for change. We must balance being in the world but not of it, and being salt and light. The only way to make significant and sustainable change is from the inside, never the outside. Bring real value to your marketplace opportunities. Be the change you want to see in others before you start preaching and demanding change. You know, you're in the marketplace to represent Christ. Christ didn't bring a sword, but he brought the word that was in him from the beginning. I pray that the word of God that's in you will cause you to have divine appointments every day in those places that you want to change. My prayers are with you. May you change the world.
It's time to get to work transforming your city. Idle in the Marketplace at the 11th hour is the popular must-read from Dr. Dave Robinson concerning the church's most important mandate. Connect with Coach Dave. Become a member of the team at transformingyourcity.com. With your donation of any amount, you'll have online access to the Idle in the Marketplace audiobook. For your contribution of $35 or more, we'll include a print version as well. Perfect for highlighting and taking notes, plus a print copy of Dave's popular 100 Leadership Nuggets, the perfect guide for those who want to lead well. Your gift will help Transforming Your City impact lives globally for the kingdom. And Transforming Your City is part of E41 Marketplace Ministries. Visit transformingyourcity.com today and look for Idle in the Marketplace offer. That's transformingyourcity.com. Here's our toll-free number, 844-706-1444. That's 844-706-1444. Toll-free 844-706-1444. transformingyourcity.com.
Want to learn more about the Transforming Your City one-day equipping events? Give our Transforming Your City's offices a call, toll-free, at 844-706-1444. That's 844-706-1444. Or email us at dave@transformingyourcity.com. That's transformingyourcity.com.
Thanks for tuning in today. I pray our time together was helpful to you and your marketplace leadership efforts. I pray the church in your city is committed to possessing the places of influence and seeing God's kingdom established. If I can help you in any way with your leadership challenges and seeing your city transformed, please call me at 844-704-1444. Till next time, I call you blessed in Jesus' name.
You've been listening to the Transforming Your City radio program with popular leadership expert, author, speaker, mentor, minister, Coach Dr. Dave Robinson. For more information on transforming your city, visit us on the web, transformingyourcity.com. That's transformingyourcity.com. Or give us a call toll-free at 844-706-1444. Again, that's 844-706-1444. Toll-free, 844-706-1444. Transforming Your City is powered by E41 Marketplace Ministries and the Fellowship. Visit us online at transformingyourcity.com.